From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, October 27th. Another mostly cloudy and warm day and windy. Highs are going to climb into the 70s again, like mid-70s. Tonight, some rain chances increase with a cooler morning Saturday, starting out in the mid-50s for that Monumental Marathon. And a huge cool down is headed our way next week.
I don't think this should have happened to my family member or any other family member. This is getting out of hand. It's just too many people dying at the hands of the police.
A family member speaks out about the newest police shooting in Indianapolis. Sharon Cannon claims to be the aunt of a man who died in a shootout with officers last night. She says the man had struggled with mental health and was homeless. Police say he grabbed an officer's gun and shot him with it, then died when the officer shot him back. The scene unfolded at a hotel and a Burger King at 21st in Shadeland. Cannon says her nephew used to beg for change there. IMPD says officers tried to arrest the man for trespassing at the hotel, but he ran off and later ended up in the restaurant. There, according to IMPD, officers fought with the man to get him into custody, and at some point, he managed to get an officer's gun and fire, grazing the officer. Investigators say the officer had a backup gun and used it, killing the man. We talked with a worker at the restaurant who saw it happen.
I think anybody would be scared in that type of situation, but I was mainly wanting to make sure that, because we do have teenagers in the store, I wanted to make sure that they were okay. Their moms was out and they were worried, and I'm just glad that didn't nothing really too bad get out of hand with the employees.
IMPD says surveillance cameras at the Burger King and body cameras on the officers captured this scene. Investigators aren't yet releasing the names of the officers or the man killed. This is the 14th IMPD shooting this year and the second this week. I-70 is back open on the far east side after a crash between an SUV and semi killed two people. It happened at about 7:30 last night in the westbound lanes between German Church Road and Mithofer Road. Police have not released the names of the victims or what caused the crash. And a man faces several charges after a deadly hit-and-run crash on the south side of the city. It happened on Madison Avenue, south of Stop 11, early yesterday evening. Police say two cars collided. One driver died. The other left the scene. Police say community members helped officers find and arrest him. IMPD expects Hatan Kai to face charges for driving under the influence, leaving the scene, and resisting arrest. An Indianapolis man now faces sentencing, convicted in a deadly crash on the near north side. The crash happened in July. The Marion County prosecutor says Rodney Spells was going more than 100 miles per hour when he crossed the center line near 38th Street and Keystone Avenue. He hit two vehicles head on. One driver died and the other was seriously injured. Spells faced several charges, including drunk driving, dealing drugs, and causing a deadly crash. His sentencing is set for December 14th. A prominent Indianapolis emergency room doctor says he is heading to Israel this weekend. Dr. Louis Profeta wrote on Facebook yesterday that he'll be stationed at a major trauma center south of the Lebanon border. Profeta works for Ascension St. Vincent. He graduated from the IU School of Medicine and trained in emergency medicine in Pittsburgh. Profeta is set to fly out tomorrow. The Biden administration says U.S. airstrikes in Syria are meant to send a stern warning to Iran that America will not tolerate attacks on its troops and will defend itself. The Pentagon says two U.S. fighter jets launched the airstrikes late last night in retaliation for drone and missile attacks on American bases and troops. The overnight strikes hit two areas linked to militias that have Iran's backing. No word yet if the strikes killed anyone. The Pentagon announced yesterday that it is sending forces to the Middle East to boost protection. The troops are coming from bases in Texas and Oklahoma. A promising lead leads to nothing in the search for a mass shooter in Maine. Officers and agents, some using dogs, surrounded a home linked to Robert Card, demanding Card and anyone else inside surrender. Investigators now say they don't know if Card was ever there. Investigators say Card killed 18 people and wounded 13 others across two scenes. 18 deaths is a revised count, down 6 from the number authorities reported early Thursday. Schools, doctors, offices, and grocery stores in and near Lewiston are still closed this morning, 2 days into the search. Bobby Nichols is a survivor of the gunfire in a bowling alley. Her sister died.
I couldn't see her, and everybody was running, and I got caught in people trampling and running out, and we just kept running, and there was shots fired outside the building after, and we just kept running and running and running.
Much of the search for Cart is happening in wooded areas. Authorities say he may be comfortable in the outdoors and has military training, potentially complicating the search. Authorities say at least 27 people are dead and 4 more are missing from Hurricane Otis. It slammed into Acapulco, Mexico this week as a Category 5 storm, the strongest ever recorded in the area. There's a lot of damage to beachside resorts there. Authorities say locals had little time to prepare as early forecasts significantly underestimated the storm threat. Health experts are describing COVID-19 shot numbers as abysmal. That comment echoed others delivered during a CDC meeting yesterday looking at the rates. The agency has transitioned the COVID vaccination campaign into an annual effort mirroring the flu shot advice. A study out earlier this month says so far 2% of children and 7% of adults have gotten the new version. The data also indicated that nearly 40% of adults say they'll probably or definitely not get the shot and don't plan to vaccinate their children. Marion County will open 8 new polling places tomorrow. Election officials say the voting sites will operate for 9 days until November 5th. Hours are 11 to 6 every day. The locations include the government centers in Decatur, Franklin, Perry, and Warren Townships, the City County Building downtown, and the Thatcher Park Community Center. I-Team 8 reports Airbnb will use artificial intelligence to prevent disruptive Halloween house parties in Indianapolis. Police say they are grateful for the rental company's help to stop people from hosting parties. IMPD has been cracking down on house parties since the summer. Airbnb says the AI will block certain reservations over Halloween. It's targeting listings identified as higher risk, but has not clarified what that means. Only apartments or single rooms are available for this weekend. Airbnb did something similar last Halloween. About 1,300 people were blocked from booking an entire home across Indiana. The Blue Angels pilots are giving insight into the flights they'll take over central Indiana during this weekend's Crossroads Air Show. We previewed the show on Daybreak at the Indianapolis Regional Airport yesterday. I've talked a little bit about it here on the podcast. The Blue Angels will be part of it for the first time since 2012. One pilot tells us he appreciates traveling across the country. Organizers expect more than 15,000 people to come out this weekend. Parking opens at 7:30, gates at 9 Saturday and Sunday morning. Aerial performances start around noon. 15,000 runners will take to the streets in downtown Indianapolis tomorrow morning for this year's Monumental Marathon. Thousands have checked in for the race already and picked up their packets. Organizers say runners and walkers come from all 50 states and more than 25 countries. And then at 8 tomorrow morning, their training gets put to the test. The race is kicked off from the front steps of the Indiana State House. There's a 5K, half marathon, and full marathon. And to business headlines, UPS issued a warning about the economy. The delivery company reported sharply lower earnings and expects a slower global economy. Food insecurity among families with children rose significantly last year. Children were food insecure at times in 3.3 million households with children during 2022, an increase of 1 million families from the prior year. That's according to the Department of Agriculture. Though the USDA does not delve into the factors behind the changes in food insecurity, experts point to the loss of federal COVID-19 pandemic assistance as a major reason why food insecurity increased in 2022. Amazon said profit tripled to nearly $10 billion from July to September. Amazon has been trying to engineer a rebound in its core e-commerce business following a slowdown after pandemic-induced heights. The company has reined in costs across its North American unit, slashing roughly 27,000 corporate jobs and streamlining its operations. House Speaker Mike Johnson's first big bill cuts Biden's climate change funding. The measure would end rebates for energy-efficient appliances. It also slashes funds for other big programs to counter climate change. Chipotle Mexican Grill's earnings that beat expectations, helped by higher menu prices for its burritos and bowls. Beef and queso costs rose this quarter, largely offsetting last year's menu price hikes. Earlier this month, the restaurant chain raised menu prices for the first time in more than a year, citing inflation. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and like us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.